So I'm jumping right back where we left off at step number 4. We were able to create the sketch. We were able to add in the front sketch. And oh, here's a quick little tidbit. If I happen to lose my place, or if I saved and I came back, you can always double click the sketch and come back into it. Okay, no. With that, double click and we're back into the sketch. Okay, click the front view. We're looking right back in our perspective. Step number 4, we're going to add a circle. So you're going to click here. You'll find the circle with the center point. You're going to click center point circle, hover over the origin, click and drag, and you have your circle. It's that simple. Again, do that one more time. You're going to click your center point circle. You're going to hover over the origin, hover over the origin. You're going to click and drag out. And you're done. Remember, if you ever still have that crosshair that you see up there, you can press escape. Same way if you accidentally click and you know that you're stuck here, you're like, oh, it won't let go, you can press escape. Someone asked before, what do I do if I have an extra circle or line? You can click and just press delete. Click, you can either right click and delete, or you can just click and backspace. Okay, perfect. Now that we're here, it's telling us we're going to turn these 2 lines into construction lines. I'm going to click here. I'm going to turn this into a construction line. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to turn this into a construction line, okay? Good. Going into the next step. So with this, we're going to add these lines and make sure that they're equal, okay? Click the line. And we're going to start the sketch or start the line right on the circle. Click. And remember, OnShape wants to make this snap into place. You see how the orange lines comes up? You want this to be vertical, right? You're going to click. Anywhere you're going to click, you want this to be horizontal. From there, you'll click and it'll come down and it'll touch right onto the circle. How's it going? So you guys are studying right now, quietly and not playing games. Okay? If we're still at this line right here, we're going to press escape. And now we have our sketch. Okay? Now this doesn't look even. It's because it's not. But we're going to make these 2 lines even and make that equal out. So if you go to our constraints right here, you find the equal constraint. We're going to click this line and this line. This will automatically snap into the midpoint, and we're good. Press escape, and we're back to our arrow. Okay? Step number 6, I'm going to move myself into the corner here. Step number 6, okay? Now we're going to start adding dimensions, okay? This is the fun part. You start adding dimensions, okay? You see the 3.5, 2.5, 0.75, 1.25. Our dimension tool is right here. We're going to click our dimension tool, and let's say that we want to dimension this first, right? I can always just click the line. I'm going to pull this out and pull it to the side, just like us on the drawing. I'm going to click once, and I'll be able to come up and change this to 0.75. Enter. Okay. Now, due to the constraints that I've added to this, the whole thing will change. Okay. Now, don't be too surprised about that. That's okay that happened. We can always change that overall as well. Okay. Good. I'm gonna do that one more time so you guys can see that. I'm gonna click dimension. I'm gonna click line. Drag it to the left. 0.75. Okay, good. Now, let's look at here. If I click this line again, and then I click this line, I'll be able to get the dimension between them. I'm going to make that 1.25. Okay, I'll do that one more time. I click dimensions. I click this line, first line I clicked, then I click this line right here. Get that dimension in between. That's going to be 1.25. Alrighty. Not really looking like the same as the sketch. Don't worry, we're going to keep adding some dimensions, okay? So let's do the height, okay? Matter of fact, let's do this one. If I click this line, right, and then I come down and click this line, I can change this dimension to 2.5, made it a little taller, right? Same thing with our top dimension. We still are on the dimension tool. Click the top button, top line, excuse me. This line here next to it, I'm going to change that to 3.5. 3.5. Now, we're getting there. It's not as wide. It still looks skinny. Don't worry. We're going to go to the next slide. More dimensions. Now we're going to dimension our radius. That's what R is, radius, and our diameter. So if we have a circle with a slash, that's our diameter. Let's go ahead and click dimension. We're still on our dimension. We're going to click this circle. When we pull this out, we're going to change that to 2 inches. Okay. Now, don't worry still. We're going to click our arc at the bottom here. Click our arc at the bottom here. We're going to drag it out. And that R is going to be 2 inches as well. Now we're starting to get somewhere that looks a little more similar. If you want to drag around your dimensions, you can. Now we just have to fix this top part here. No worries at all. Okay. Go to our next slide. We are almost there, but we're going to change this dimension here. Now, you may be wondering, how are we going to get this dimension? There's several ways we can get this dimension. We're still on the dimension tool. I can actually click the top line, and I can click this line on the side. I get this angle. Then I can move my mouse to this side, and I can change that to 45. It automatically fixes the angle. I'll do that one more time to show you guys. I'm going to click dimension, click the top line. I'm going to click the line next to it. This will give me the dimension of those two lines. It's an obtuse angle. If I drag my line across this blue line, I'll be able to then change the acute angle, and that will be 45 degrees. I know that was a quick run through. I'm going to click the check mark. Then from the check mark, I'm going to continue on with my sketch. I'll be able to highlight the overall sketch, and I'll be able to double check, triple check my area. My area is right down here. Okay. Now, here's my check. I had already a sketch that I drew before. Seems like I was a little off of my old sketch. That's perfectly fine. This sketch is closer to the dimensions that we used. Therefore, that's a more accurate sketch. All right. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to reach out. Have a good rest of the day.